my friends. It's Sally Clarkson again, and we're studying today Mission of Motherhood, Chapter 2. And today I'm going to talk just a little bit about the design of motherhood, the biblical design of motherhood. Many of you know that I just returned home from being 2 weeks in my beloved Austria. Austria is the country where I lived when I was very young as a missionary. And for me, just to walk out into the streets, the cobblestone streets, and almost any single street that you walk on in downtown Vienna, there's a beautiful building. The buildings have carved structure, and they have statues, and they have awnings, and they have tall, gorgeous windows. When you go into a lot of the old cafes, the furniture has detail on it and structure and beauty, and it's of rich wood, and the tapestry is beautiful. And I love seeing all of the skillful design that it required artisans to make. And when you come back to America, you realize that we have moved into a time where all of the houses are made of very practical structural pieces. They don't last forever. They're made of things that we think are going to be less expensive to do. But sometimes the beauty and the craftsmanship and the art and the delicacy and the training and the skill of people giving beauty to the design has been lost in us. We don't even know it was supposed to be there because we are not surrounded by the beauty of buildings that were architecturally designed and furniture and tapestries in such a way that they would bring pleasure and reflect on the artists who designed them. Well, I think that's what's happened to the design of family today. God created the family to be a beautiful design, and He created motherhood to be a place where civility would take place, where if you can think about the design of the beautiful buildings, and I will be putting some pictures of these up in my blog, I Take Joy, very soon. I think that when God designed creation, 7 times in Genesis 1, He said the light was good and the seasons were good and the plants were good and so on and so forth. And so you understand that God created there to be beauty and goodness in His design. He said it was good. There are children coming in my house. And yet when He designed the family, when He designed Adam and Eve, when He created them to have just as much significance in their design, in their beauty, in their purpose in life, He said they were very good. You see, God knew, the God who created atoms and seasons and beauty and colors and flowers, knew that the epic, the pinnacle of His design, which would be to make people whose souls would last for eternity in His own image, that He would also create a design for their relationships. And so God created a man and a woman, marriage, and He created the first words out of His life were a blessing, and in the blessing He said, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Children were a part of the perfect design before the fall, that they would have many children, that they would bring children into their home for comfort and beauty and emotion and truth and purpose. And so family was created to pass on this great understanding of ruling over the earth, of bringing purpose and beauty to the earth by God. He didn't want us to be alone. He wanted us to have a community of loving people. He didn't want us to not have pleasure. He gave us that loving companionship in marriage. He gave women the ability to be able to breastfeed and to be able to nurture children. He gave women the ability to have hormones that would be able to help them to have a connection to their babies. He gave men the desire to teach and instruct and rule, as well as women to teach and instruct and rule. You see, children and family and the heritage that they were designed to create with God as He passed on to them the purposes of the whole world and universe, to subdue and rule and to create and bring all sorts of things to bear in a productive way. The family was the best and the pinnacle of all of God's design. And a mom who understands that when she holds a baby in her hands, that she is holding the ability to influence all of eternity by shaping their brain and their thoughts, by shaping their emotions, by giving them training, by giving them purpose, by letting them experience the beauty of becoming skillful, intelligent, articulate, spiritual, strong people. It's the glory of a woman to subdue and rule in her life and in her home and through her children and through her marriage and through her family and in her community in such a way that God would be glorified. But you see, in this generation, Satan has attacked, and in the past hundreds of years, he has attacked the design of family. He has attacked the beauty of motherhood. And he has so destroyed our picture of what God had in mind for us that we're accepting the mundane, the practical, the inexpensive designs instead of understanding that there was more there. There was a crafting and a beauty like the buildings in Vienna. When I look at them, I see the importance of design and crafting and skill. And in the same way, if we were to understand and go back to biblical design and understand the greatness that God had in mind for crafting a woman in his image so that she could indeed civilize generations, then we would have a passion and inspiration for motherhood that is far beyond what our culture has taught us to understand today. And that is what you're going to read about and discuss in chapter 2 of The Mission of Motherhood, the biblical design and foundation. So be blessed, read it, talk about it, share with us about it, and know that I am praying every week for all of you precious women that you can understand that your role will have significance in this century for all eternity because you are embracing the crafting and the shaping of souls and hearts and minds of children that God has entrusted into your hands when you embrace the mission of motherhood.